Welcome back. Mental health, emotional distress, and suicidal prevention are critical topics that affect families across our nation every single day. In Trinidad and Tobago, there is a dedicated beacon of hope working 24/7 to support those in crisis. Joining us today is Ruby Scotland, a representative from Lifeline, a 24/7 free helpline serving Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for the vital work that your organization does.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Absolutely. So right away, let's start with the basics for anyone who might be unfamiliar. What is the core mission of Lifeline and how did the organization come to be?
So Lifeline has been around for the last 50 years. Our organization does one thing. We help offers emotional support to people who are passing through a personal crisis or who are in imminent danger of taking their own lives. We have a listening service, so people can call in 24/7 and talk to somebody, and we will listen to you. Tell us about what's going on in your life.
Yeah. And you mentioned call in to talk to someone, so can you just tell us when someone calls the Lifeline, who answers the phone? Is it a trained medical professional or would it be someone or volunteers, for instance? Yeah.
Good question. So every person who is a listener at Lifeline is a volunteer. They're ordinary people, just like you and me, who have deep empathy and compassion for their neighbors from all over Trinidad and Tobago. And these folks are prepared by Lifeline in active listening skills and in understanding suicide. And so these are people who are prepared specifically to listen to people who are in crisis, not to tell them what to do, not to guide them down a different path, not to prescribe them any medications, which we cannot do, not to try and diagnose a mental health problem. We don't do that. All of our volunteers are there strictly to listen to what a person has to say when they call our hotline, our helpline.
Yeah. And along those lines, sometimes I feel people may feel intimidated or even scared to make that first call. So can you walk us through what exactly happens when someone dials the Lifeline number?
It's absolutely natural to feel a little bit scared when you make your first call to Lifeline, but be encouraged. There is no judgment from our listeners. It's just you taking the time, taking the opportunity to express what's happening today. Well, how are you feeling today? What's the issue that caused you to make this phone call? And it's completely non-judgmental. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to give us information about where you live. We do not record these calls. We do not report to any agency. It is a very safe space for you to be in. It's all about your confidentiality, your anonymity, and you having an opportunity to just talk to somebody who is going to listen with empathy and compassion.
And I love how you mentioned to just talk to someone. So you're saying that Lifeline is not strictly for individuals who may be thinking about suicide and persons may be able to call in for other reasons. Yeah?
Absolutely. We have lots of different reasons for not feeling well, right? We could be under stress from financial difficulties. We could be having relationship or marital problems. We could be students who are very worried about passing their exams. Students today are under tremendous pressure to do well in school, and it might be a student calling and talking about that. It might be somebody who's experiencing a very painful breakup. It could be a grandmother who's really concerned about what's going on with her grandchild. And so it's all about people who are in every stage of life who are worried about any kind of thing, not just the people who are contemplating taking their own lives.
Yeah. And in our culture, there is still a heavy stigma surrounding mental health. Normally, people would say just pray it away or be strong, don't show any weakness. How does Lifeline work to break through that cultural barrier?
That's a really big issue. We want people to know that asking for help, if they're experiencing some distress in their lives, asking for help is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. It's important that you reach out and connect with somebody. Trying to do some things on your own, in this case, is not necessarily the right answer. Reaching out and asking for help says, I am aware that I am struggling and I am aware that I need help and I'm going to get that help. If you broke your leg, you would find medical attention. If your car broke down, you would find somebody to help you fix your car. If you are not feeling well, if you are struggling, you can find someone to help you. And that someone could be Lifeline.
Yeah. And just to go into specifics a little, statistically, men are often less likely to seek help but highly vulnerable to suicide. Do you see many men utilizing your services?
Yes, actually, that's a really good question. Yes, men do call Lifeline. Women have a tendency to be able to talk to their sisters, their mothers, their girlfriends, but men don't necessarily talk to each other about the things that are bothering them, the
Yeah.
real things that are bothering them. And so they don't create those that support system. And we don't want men to try and figure this out on their own. We don't want them to explode, right? Because when a man holds it in, holds it in, holds it in, and then explodes, who's the person that's going to suffer? His spouse and his children.
Yeah.
So being able to talk to somebody that you don't know, that is just a voice on the phone, and being able to express what's going on in his life is a great way for him to unburden himself in a very calm and confidential, private, anonymous way. And no one has to know. No one will know that you called Lifeline. No one will know that you've talked about your situation. You will know, you will feel calmer. And we encourage men to call in and let us know when they're feeling like unsteady and they need to discuss what's going on in their lives. It's not a sign of weakness. It's really a sign that you are aware that you need help and you are taking care of the problem.
Absolutely right. And we can even talk about our youths for a second. Teenagers and young adults face very different world today with social media and cyberbullying. So how is Lifeline adapting to reach them?
Well, Lifeline would like our young people to consider calling us and having a conversation. How many you've seen it on the media, 15 and 16-year-olds going into their rooms, locking the door, and taking a fatal decision. And we don't want that. We want young people to give us a call to talk about what's going on. They're under tremendous stress with their studies, pressure to do well. They're under stress from their friend groups. And it's not necessary to try and do it on your own in that situation either. Give us a call at Lifeline. Talk about what's going on. It may not be as bad as you think. Maybe we can be your sounding board and help you figure out a way out of the problem, or just listen. Just listen to what you have to say. Sometimes when we are within a family and we're talking, people still aren't listening. But at Lifeline, we listen. We listen to what you have to say. And sometimes it's just that act of listening is enough to help somebody feel better.
Absolutely. And running a 24/7 crisis service cannot be easy. So what are some of the biggest operational challenges that Lifeline faces today?
That's a great question. And we have two big problems. One is funding and one is volunteers. So we are a nonprofit organization. We do not receive and we are a non-governmental organization. So we do not receive any funding from the government of Trinidad and Tobago. So all of our funding comes from businesses on the island, from individuals who have experienced something with relation to suicide and who feel compelled to give us a donation, and then individuals who have pocket change and who drop off money. And so we are really always looking for funding. We're always looking to find ways to bring money in to pay for just the operation of our organization. And the other thing that we are always looking for are volunteers, people who are tremendously empathetic and compassionate, because that's something that you can't teach, right? We can't teach that. We can teach you active listening skills, but we can't teach empathy and compassion. So we're always looking for volunteers. And also, not just volunteers to listen, but we're also looking for volunteers with skills. We have 3 different teams that we can take people on. We have a social media team, and that's the team that focuses on our public-facing communication. These are folks who have skills in Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and help us with our website and our blog posts and our newsletter. So if you've got skills within the media, we have a place for you. We also have a schools and community outreach team, and the purpose of that team is to go out to schools, whether it's a high school, a college, a university, community organizations, and companies. And what we do is we send teams out to these places to educate the public on the signs and symptoms of suicide and how they can help people who they feel might be vulnerable to suicide. We go into businesses and we talk about workplace stress, because as workplace stress escalates, people can start to do very they can take things to the extreme, and we don't want it to get to the extreme where they're thinking about ending their own lives. And so every time we go out into the community through our schools and community outreach team, we are educating the public. So if you've got if you're a great networker, if you are good at giving presentations, if you want to touch people face to face, then we have a place for you in our schools and community outreach team. And then we have a fundraising team for those people who are out there who know how to raise money. And we could always use your services that way. So between our listening team, our schools and community outreach, our media team, and our fundraising team, lots of ways that the public can join Lifeline and help us with our goal of being here for another 50 years, helping the community.
Wow, that is perfectly said, and absolutely love how there is a space for everyone to come and play a part to contribute in one way or the next. And some might even ask, what do the volunteers themselves get out of this experience? What is that personal appeal?
Well, I've been with Lifeline now for 3 years, and I've known people in the organization who've been here for decades, and I've known people who've been here for a short time. And I can tell you that being part of an organization that is really focused on helping people be their best, right? People who are talking to people who are at their lowest and who are raising people up. People who are looking to save lives, maybe not directly like the listening team does, but indirectly. It means that you're doing something that's bigger than you. You're participating in something that has true meaning. And we just had a 5K recently that was sponsored for us by Massey Distribution. And all of our volunteers were so excited to be out there at the race, telling people about Lifeline. It was a joyous occasion to be at that 5K. And every event that we do is about telling people there is absolutely no reason why you should make a permanent decision about something that is very likely a temporary problem. That is that knowing that you can stop someone, that you can interrupt those suicidal thoughts, that's meaningful. Knowing that somebody doesn't have to be without their mother, be without their father, that your brother will stay, that your sister-in-law will stay one more day, that's meaningful. Interrupting those suicidal thoughts is what we want to do. Getting that 15 and 16-year-old child who thinks that it's the end of the world to say, you know what, maybe this will pass. Maybe I can get through this. Maybe I'm going to live one more day. And that's what we want. We want to interrupt those thoughts, whether we are going out to the schools, whether we are going out to a company, whether we are listening to a particular caller. We want to interrupt those thoughts and help that person realize that, yeah, maybe they do have a reason to stick around one more day.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned going out to the school, so let's expand a bit on that community presence. And can you tell us a bit about that school initiatives?
Yes, so we have a team specifically for schools and community outreach, and we are looking to open doors. That's what we're looking to do, is open doors, find schools, find community groups, find companies who want to educate their populations about suicide, about mental health, about stress, and the impact that it has on their lives. We want anybody who's listening to us to open their doors to Lifeline and say, bring your team, talk to us about this. And I will tell you this, every time we go out to a school, a college, a university, a community event, a company, somebody calls. Somebody calls. It is possible that there is a coworker, another student, somebody sitting right beside you right now who needs to hear that Lifeline exists, that there's a place that they can call where without judgment, someone is going to listen. Somebody's going to listen to them without interrupting them. Somebody's going to listen to them with compassion and with empathy. And if you could open your doors to us so that we can come and talk to your group, somebody will call. And we're not going to tell you who, obviously, because we're not going to violate our confidentiality.
Yeah.
But you can be almost guaranteed that you saved a life.
Wow.
That you saved a life by opening your door. And also, we have had people who have been introduced to Lifeline in one way or another, either through a radio ad or a presentation that we've done or this 5K race or something that we've done, and tell us, I heard that ad, it was a few years ago, and now I have time. I'm going to volunteer. I saw a flyer about Lifeline. I can't remember when that was. And now I made the decision to call you. Every interaction that we have, whether it's the result is today or tomorrow or a few years from now, every interaction sticks in somebody's mind. And that's what we want. We want people to remember that Lifeline exists, that before they take a permanent decision to what is very likely a temporary problem, that they know that they can call, what was it called? Oh yeah, Lifeline. They can call Lifeline and they can have a conversation with somebody. Yeah. Somebody who's not going to judge, somebody who's just going to listen, somebody who's going to ask them the questions that no one else has asked them, and that they can save their own life. It doesn't have to be you by yourself. You can call Lifeline and you can get help. You can get a chance to unburden yourself, to tell us what's going on. How are you feeling today? Are you okay? If you're not okay, give us a call. Our number is 800-5588 or 566-5433. Give us a call if you're not feeling well. If you're not feeling well, give us a call. We can listen.
Truly, indeed, vital work that you guys are doing at Lifeline. And to even ask about the rural communities and areas that don't have or often lack that direct access to physical mental health clinics, how does Lifeline reach citizens in those areas?
So if you are in a place where you don't have a mental health clinic close by to you, give us a call again at Lifeline and let us know if you want us to come to you, or we can do a webinar. So over the Zoom, or we can go to you and set up a team to come to your location. And this is where it would be best if we had a group of people, and then we would send a team and talk to you about what's going on with mental health and suicide, and how to what signs to look for, what signs to listen for, and how to help someone that you think might be vulnerable to suicide. So we're more than happy to go out. It will take some coordination, and that's what the schools and community outreach team does, is coordinate with groups of people so that our team can go out and give this information.
Absolutely. And let's talk about the financial side for a bit, the donors. Why is financial sponsorship so critical for a free crisis line?
Right. So as I said, we don't receive any government funding, and so we have to raise our own capital. Capital for what? Well, we have a center. We have to pay the phones. We have to pay the light bill, the phone bill, all the things that goes with having a center. All of our staff is volunteer, but there is requirements for being able to pay for flyers, being able to send a team out to a rural location. There's transportation costs and that kind of thing. So what we ask for is when we do go out to give a talk to a group of people, we ask that group to consider giving a donation to Lifeline to defray the cost of our going out there and the cost of supplying you with information. So that's one way. We have on our website, we have information for our account where ordinary citizens can donate money to us. And then we also are looking for big events like the 5K that was put on for us by Massey Distribution, big events where we can reach a lot of people at one time and perhaps receive donations through that endeavor.
Absolutely. And I feel you touched a bit on it, but for corporate donors or citizens looking on to pledge financial support, why choose Lifeline?
Lifeline has been around offering its services for 50 years to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And we would very much like to be around for another 50 years. There are people who call Lifeline, We average about 4,000 to 5,000 calls a year from people from all walks of life. People who are going through domestic violence situations, people who are going through relationship problems, marital problems, financial problems, students going through problems with exams and bullying and all sorts of things. And so we are helping the people of Trinidad and Tobago and have done that for free for many years, for 50 years, and we want to continue doing it. I ask the people of Trinidad and Tobago to consider, when you're giving your donations, to consider Lifeline, because we are serving people, and it's a lot for our volunteers. Our volunteers do this willingly. People who raise their hands every week and say, yes, I want to be of service. And so we want to be able to continue having our center. We want to continue being able to give students flyers and things that help them to remember Lifeline, so that when they come into their crisis, right? So when people have a crisis, they can go back to that flyer, they can go back to that pen, they can go back to that wristband, they can go back to the giveaway and remember the number. We want to be able to reach more people through our media. And so all of these things takes money, and we are grateful for every dollar that we receive, and we hope that people would consider us when they are, and especially corporate citizens, that they would consider us when they're planning their philanthropy for the year. Please consider Lifeline, because we are definitely offering a service that is very much needed in Trinidad and Tobago.
Absolutely. And before we wrap up today, what is your message to someone sitting at home right now who feels completely overwhelmed, hopeless, or even isolated?
I want you to remember that you are important. Please don't give up. Don't give up. Give us a call at Lifeline. Tell us how you're feeling today. Are you okay? Are you feeling okay? If you are not okay, give us a call. 800-5588 or 866-5433. Someone will answer the phone. You don't have to give us your real name. You don't have to tell us where you live. We're not going to record the call. We're not going to report to anybody. It's a safe space for you to call and tell us how you're feeling today. Someone will listen. If you want to help, call us and tell us you want to volunteer. Go to our website and look up on the volunteer page how to fill out the application. And we will prepare you either to be a listener, if that's what you're so inclined to do, or to be on one of our teams. If you are a corporate sponsor, consider Lifeline in your donations. But for those of you who need someone to talk to, if you're lonely, if you are struggling with a bad marriage, if you have anything that is weighing you down and you need to talk to somebody, we are here to listen. Lifeline is here to listen. We've been here for the last 50 years. We hope to be here for 50 more. We are a 24/7 helpline. Our primary mission is to offer emotional support to people passing through a crisis or who are in imminent danger of taking their own lives. Lifeline is here for you. You don't have to make a permanent decision about what is likely a temporary problem. Call us. We're here to help.
Beautifully said, Ruby. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing and being a part of this morning show. I do believe it's timely, and the right people would definitely get this message and receive what they need to receive from it. So thank you so much for taking your time to come on and share this with us.
Thank you, Takia, for having Lifeline on your show.
Absolutely.
We appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Guys, as we wrap up today's show, we hope that you were able to take something away from it. Every conversation we have, there is always an important takeaway, and we do hope that you're taking it away. And as I always say to close, stay safe, stay positive, stay informed. Up next, we do have Sean Michael Small at 8 with Talking Points, and I'll see you again next week. Have a great weekend and a fun-filled one as well. Bye.